his Matt Ryan prediction looking good early on. I'm going to say that he predicted that Matt Ryan would be one of the top 4 fantasy quarterbacks by the time the season wrapped up here. He got a good start to the season. There are a couple of other projections that I looked at the first week and said, man, my man may have been onto something here. So BJ joins us, Fantasy Football for Winners, tomorrow as well. Can't wait for that. Speaking of, I got to go check. I'm going to have to check my waiver claims here. I've already begun tinkering. They say it's never too early to start tinkering with your fantasy team because you can sit around and let things move past you. Can't wait for tomorrow. Today, wrapping things up, I mentioned earlier, we've talked about so many bad things, whether we're talking about Ray Rice. Speaking of, I talked about dumb headlines earlier. Did Ray Rice lie to Roger Goodell? That's a headline that just popped across my screen. Are these really is it Captain Obvious? Like, are these the type of headlines that we put up nowadays? These are the things. Do websites like Pro Football Talk truly believe that their audience is a bunch of blithering idiots with IQs in the single digits? Because I honestly feel that that's the way a lot of these people, radio shows, television, these certain websites, it's all lowest common denominator. I swear. They think that everybody swims in the shallow end of the gene pool. I'm telling you, man, it drives me. Did Ray Rice lie to Roger Goodell? Well, first off, if Ray Rice's side of the story was the biggest factor in how you figured out your punishment, then I'm going to jump right on that fire you train, because that's ridiculous, man. Roger Goodell now saying Ray Rice misled us with his comments. What do you think? He's going to come out there and say, yeah, I punched her right in the face. They got it on video. Of course not, man. Look at... Anyway, what a dumb it's the headline, though. What a dumb headline. Did Ray Rice lie to Roger Goodell? That's what this story's all about now. And then you read the story, and it's just all a bunch of ambiguous garbage. Sometimes I just look at these, I get so mad, I get frustrated when I see the garbage that people are fed all the time, and then I wonder where I know for a fact that axiom, I say bad sports talk, but I should that envelops all the media. Bad sports media creates bad, rotten, horrible sports fans, and it's not even their own fault. Not even their own fault. It's like when a guy is trained wrong at his job, and then he gets fired, and they call him a horrible employee, and I say, maybe true, but it probably lies more to the fact that he was trained terribly and he didn't have a chance from the get-go. And I feel that a lot of sports fans in 2014 are raised terribly from the day they start watching it, and they're just led down the path. And if you don't get yourself off of it, then you end up being one of those guys who sits at the TV every 5 minutes going, ooh, 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 ooh. They said Josh Gordon may be back by the end of the day. Ooh, ooh, I got to sit here and wait for the next report. Oh, they're coming live again. It's a done deal. It's coming sometime today. 3 weeks later, they're still sitting in front of the TV going, man, I'm starting to get mad at ESPN now. They're screwing things up. They won't let us get Josh Gordon back. And I'm like, it's a 24-hour news cycle. Their job, as I said to somebody earlier this morning, their job is every 10 minutes to come up with a different way to tell you the exact same thing. That's their job. That's what they do. And apparently they keep people tuning in. So it just, I don't know. I don't get the object of doing the same thing over and over again. Like, if I run into a brick wall once, ouch, that hurt. Maybe I'm stubborn and I try it again just to see if I'm strong enough to knock it down. But you can bet your ass I'm not doing it the third time. At some point, my brain kicks in and says, that's not working, man. But there's people who just keep bending down in the three-point stance and running into that brick wall, walking away, scratching their head, going, why do I keep hitting my head on the brick wall? Because if you do the same thing over and over, you get the same results over and over again, guys. Anyways, but to segue out of that, what I want to end the show with is something good. I want to end the show with something positive. We're talking all this garbage and all this madness about bad things off the court, and knowing me, I'm not one to quickly give credit to anything coming from the Cincinnati Bengals. But have you guys heard yet the true feel-good story going around out of Cincinnati about Devin Still, defensive tackle? He was cut from the team at the end of training camp because they felt that he wasn't able to focus and concentrate on what he needed to do to make the team because he was dealing with his 4-year-old daughter who has stage 4 cancer, and he's been hands-on that, and they knew that that was the reason that he wasn't able to focus. They didn't cut him. They put him on the practice squad, which enabled him to be able to use have access to insurance and things like that. They just brought him to the main roster here this past week after being on the practice squad. Cincinnati Bengals say that, and this is amazing here, he offered sales of his jersey, any proceeds that would be gained, he would donate to pediatric cancer research. Within 24 hours, officials from the Bengals said that the number 75 still jersey outsold any jersey ever of any Cincinnati Bengals player. Ever is the quote exactly given by the Cincinnati Bengals public affairs and relations guy. He didn't have the exact number, but blew away any sales of any Bengals player ever in just that 24-hour period. That speaks a lot. We're talking about the $100, we're not talking about the replica jersey here. And just amazing, though, to see people react to that. But, say what you will. I know Cincinnati, Cleveland, all of that stuff, but the organization, they get a rightful bad rap a lot for being cheap, and I know they've got issues with their fan base and stuff. Does that sound familiar to something that we deal with and hear about here in Cleveland? But not the most popular organization with the fan base and the front office and all of that. But to keep him on board and then give him the opportunity and he said this. He said, any other team could have done a football decision. And we hear that a lot. We get numb to it when you hear, hey, it's strictly a football decision. We just numbers. We didn't have enough room for this guy and that guy. And the Bengals did look past that. They put him on the practice squad because they knew that had he been able to focus, he would have made the team, but he wasn't able to. And he was very blatantly out front with them and said, hey, this is where my focus is. This is the best I can do. And as her condition has stabilized and improved, he told the team he's able to give them more of his attention, so they re-signed him, put him on the main roster. And as I said, by doing that as well, his health insurance from the NFL will be able to pay for some of his daughter's treatments, which they say could be upwards of $1 million. So from that aspect, it's definitely a feel-good story. But to see people reach out, like I say, we're talking about how many women's jerseys did Ray Rice sell and this and that, and you bring up all the different things and all the stuff that's ugly about sports. I love being able to end shows, especially where we spent so much of our time today and this week in general talking about guys smoking pot and being able to play football and who's using steroids and who's punching their woman and who's doing this and who's choking this person. And it feels good to be able to end on something like that. And so I'm going to take my hats off to the Bengals. Obviously, Devin Still for coming up with the idea of doing the donation of that, and for people jumping onto that and really contributing to that, stuff like that. Sometimes too, like lots of different things. Sometimes they just become hot button things that people do and jump on board and support and don't care about it. This was something kind of grassroots that built some momentum on its own. And so I thought it was cool. I wanted to make a mention of it and end it here on the show. Devin Still, you guys can still, hey, if you're interested, go to it's directly off the Cincinnati Bengals website. You can go on there and check out more information on that. And they say 100% of the proceeds go into pediatric cancer research. And I just wanted to mention that story. I didn't know if you guys saw it. I saw it, and I literally, the minute I read that story this morning, I said, this is how we're ending the show right here. We want to end the show with something good, and so that's where we're at. And we're also going to preview tonight real quick before we go out and looking ahead to tomorrow. I gave you guys the slate. You know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be talking about the Tribe. Can they bounce back? Will they bounce back? You've got to. Hey, this sounds like a broken record here. There's no wiggle room here. You got to take this game. You got to win tomorrow. You have to. That's it. You have to win the 2 games. You needed to sweep this thing. You definitely have to take 2 out of 3. You got to get House out there tonight. Go out there and take care of business so then Corey Kluber can come in and finish things off and wrap things up for you at the end of the series. Oh, the other thing, too, Tribe fans outside of tonight's game, I didn't mention it earlier, and we'll talk more about the Indians with Mike Brandenberry tomorrow, but The Indians announced the details. They finally had been decided upon by Major League Baseball. I mean, mostly what we knew about, but they put in stone how we finish that game that is unfinished from Kansas City, the suspended rain game from Kansas City. Monday, September 22nd, we already knew. 6:05 p.m. is when they're going to finish that game. Gates open at 5. There's a game scheduled at 7. 6:05, they're going to start the bottom of that inning there. People with tickets for the original game can enter and watch however long the conclusion is. The way that's going to go is the Indians will lead 4-2. That will be the score. Every player who was already used in that game will obviously be unavailable, as should be, because they were already played in that game. Kyle Crockett is scheduled to be the pitcher. However, Terry Francona can make a change. He doesn't have to start with Crockett. However, if he does, Crockett then also becomes unavailable because he was the announced Indians pitcher in the 10th inning. So there's that part of it. And nobody added after August 31st can be used. Anybody added before August 31st to your roster that wasn't a part of the game, you can use those guys, but you cannot use anybody added after the roster expansion. And like TJ House, for example, starting the game could not be used there. Anybody who played, kind of the basic rules from there, but that's how they're going to do it. Then they're going to clear the stadium out, and they're going to start things as normal for the 7 p.m. game with the pregame, the national anthem, and all of that. So that's where it is. We now know exactly how the Indians have to go about getting that final 3 outs and that extra game in the standings. All right, guys, we're going to call it a day. Enjoy the Tribe game tonight. They've got to get the victory. Mike Brandenberry will be here to talk about it tomorrow. As I said, Kendall Lewis, the BSK, BJ Riddell, Fantasy Football for Winners, and you, same bat time, same bat channel, Daddy. You know how we do it. Live at noon, right here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. We love you, Cleveland. Go Tribe. We'll see you tomorrow, live, right here on the Sports Fix. Don't forget, on the way out, email thesportsfix@AOL.com. Give me the 2007 Cavs NBA Finals lineup, the starting 5. Get yourself entered to win a copy of Vince McKee's new book, The Cleveland Cavaliers, History of the Wine and Gold. We will be announcing our winner tomorrow. Somebody's going to beat the box office and win a copy of that great book. So we'll see you tomorrow, live on the Sports Fix.
We hustle.